And on December 1st, 2022, poetically exactly a year since I took that picture, I started my role at Mozilla Foundation. As you know, I now lead the program in Kenya that is called Responsible Computing Challenge, where I support faculty to redesign and rethink their curricula towards ethical innovation. And with that, I achieved a very rare privilege of working in two roles that combine all my skills. At Mozilla, I support tech educators, and at Kamilimo, I support tech students. These two roles combine 7 of my skills. That's computer science, teaching, mentoring, project design, communication, innovation, and leadership. And it places all these 7 skills on one single board towards building impact. So one board, 2 responsibilities, 7 skills, 100 possibilities. These are all coming together by pursuing the desire for more and doing it unafraid. Pursuing the desire for more. The late Wangari Maathai said that those of us who've been privileged to receive education, skills, experiences, and even power have the responsibilities to be role models for the next generation of leadership. I say that those of us who've been privileged to receive education, skills, experiences, and wish to leave behind lasting impact within and beyond the classroom can think of impact that is shaped by critical thinking towards guiding us to good problems. Innovation that is grounded on remaining teachable. Complementing classroom teaching and learning using stakeholder-driven structures. Centering human skills as the backbone for technical skills. Having impact that is sustained over time because we desire for more. Critical thinking, structure, teachability, human skills, and desire for more. One, 2, 7, 100. These numbers were always around me when I was growing up, and they are still around me today. They've transcended the scrabble games that I used to play with my dad to become the symbols of the various pieces that have to come together to contribute to a career of learning and unlearning. They become a symbol of the various parts that must unite successfully to build a tech legacy, mine or yours. So I call upon each one of you to find your one board, your pieces of lessons, the players that will contribute to your game, and be open to 100 of possibilities, even when afraid. If my dad was alive today, we would still be playing Scrabble, and maybe I would have finally won. I would have told him how his lessons on using words and storytelling led me to computer science, and computer science led me to humanized tech skills. And humanizing tech skills is the impact that I am continuously shaping for those who seek skills within and outside the classroom. And I would have shared with him the news that I was invited to give a talk at Kisii University as well as Harvard University to talk about building beyond the classroom, to which he would have said, "You see how good God is. My name is going to Harvard." Thank you. I welcome questions and comments.
Please, thank you so much. And you're most welcome. Those online, please, you can also type your questions. And those on site here, please visit your time. Feel free.
Questions and comments, not necessarily questions.
Yes, I wanted just to throw in this part into our work, that you just mentioned, in regard to transiting from academia to industry.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Because somewhat people find academia and they feel they can't move that they want to. How was that experience like? Not that I want to leave, I'm not leaving. How was the transition of that
So the transition started, I will say 5 years before I quit, by building my linkages to industry. So thankfully, Kamilimu had given me the opportunity. But I started Kamilimu when I was still in academia. First, it was purely an experiment. And since I'm a researcher, I wanted to do an experiment to see what will happen if I work with students for 1 year. Kamilimu was never supposed to last this long. It was supposed to be a 1 year experiment, and that's it. But then we started with students from 4 universities, and then at the end of 1 year, there was a lot of feedback. We said, maybe let's try again. Kamilimu became Kamilimu. In the first 2 years, it was a mentorship program. No name, no websites, no nothing. It is only in 2018 that we even fixed the name Kamilimu. By me, I say we, by the people I work with. We fixed the name Kamilimu, we registered it, we had a website, we defined the pillars, and it's 2019 when I registered it as a company, and then from there we've grown ever since. Throughout the 5 years, I built very, very strong connections with the industry, both in the people who helped me build the company, with all the ways I was upskilling. So even while in academia, I was extremely, it was very critical that I really continued not only to publish, but I spoke in quite a number of places that had nothing to do with academia. So self-promotion, I have a TED Talk, you can watch it at some point. So I did quite a number of opportunities globally and locally that really pushed me with and to people who understood the value of not only contributing to my skills, but also pushing me to think really globally and as locally as well. So by the time I was leaving, I had really built such a large base. I had got goodwill for Kamilimu. I had gotten quite a number of goodwill for Kamilimu. And I can say, of course, while it was scary, but I knew that I trusted myself enough to go out there and make something out of it. So that is how I'd say it started. It wasn't sudden, I really almost subconsciously prepared for it.
As a follower, as a route of exhibition, you're having students who you like create a fascination with the objective of community.
Yeah.
The students that you give them, probably the skills you're giving them, when inside the line with what the market needs. And so then it's a need for mentorship as well.
Yeah.
So you saw a need and then you fix it. But for us in academia, how can we be sure that our students not have agreement?
Yeah.
I don't think
Yes.
soon. But how can we still be sure that the students our colleagues are aligned in the market needs?
Yeah.
And they maybe not strictly meeting the need, but maybe to an extent.
Yeah.
How could that be?
Okay. So I'm going to start with first the faculty and then I'll go to the students. So you cannot teach or mentor if you yourself you don't challenge yourself. So I have all of us are faculty here. I have been and you are. For you to be a good mentor, not even a teacher, you also have to be someone who students can see that you are pushing yourself completely outside the comfort zone. So that can look like anything, not just publications, which I know are great for promotion and the like, but also you yourself, are you developing your own skills? So I always teach what you have built is always my mantra, because I know I come from an academic background, so I'm extremely empathetic about all the issues that we've had. But if you're teaching software engineering and you have never built a software, then it becomes like you're not able to show what you're not teaching, teach what you're not showing. So it starts from there. We ourselves have to show that we are builders of the things we are teaching. It is only then that we can then translate that into even how we teach, because I know that in Kenya we can only change up to 30% of our curriculum, otherwise it has to go to Q. So that 30% may not be something really significant, but we can start with the way we are teaching in class. So that's one. The second one is to manage what's relevant, then it becomes impossible. That for me is the one key that still I see that we struggle to solve. Because you can bring resources, you can bring money, but then the students need they need not only motivation, but they need skills and structure to use those. So we need people who can be able to show that they are competent in using those skills as well. That is always my challenge that I give to faculty. Yeah.
And very last one, I promise. How can the faculty of computing maybe plan into what Cameroon is doing support our students?
Yes.
Which are not pick up from that section.
I can pick from
Yes,
Okay.
First, let me appreciate Chao for the talk. You have encouraged us. Then to speak from where Prof is, how can we, as a school or as a department, tap into the Kamilimu project?
Okay, so for now, Kamilimu is an application-oriented procedure. We take students because they've applied to it. One, because it is for you to actually stick to an 8-month mentorship program a very long time, you have to actually be willing to join it. So we make sure people apply so that they can show their willingness to join. So we operate on an application basis. Obviously, the low-hanging fruit is that we have your students apply for the next cohort as many as possible. That's a low-hanging fruit. But in terms of engagement, there are other ways that we can do. We have our community engagement outreach, and in those ones we offer skills that we teach at Kamilimu to students who are not at Kamilimu. So we can plug you in into such workshops as well. For for faculties, we can have some of the faculty applying to be mentors as well. Because one of the things we do at Kamilimu is even as mentors, you're able to learn how to become a mentor for the first time, if that is your first time. Because we have a very structured model even for mentors as well. So for now, those are the ways that we engage externally, because it is still an application-oriented track, I would say.
On the first one,
Yeah.
how many sessions do you take per year? Application, or you just apply anytime?
Oh no, just one intake.
January?
Is it free?
Yes. There's a reason why it's free.
The 8 months is all free.
Yeah.
Maybe what I wanted to know, this intake is only for those who have completed the degree.
No. You have to be still in school. Because we complement classroom learning, we don't replace it. So you have to be in school, that's a requirement.
This part of mentorship,
Yeah.
because you see our students out there, what they are asking when they go looking for jobs, they are asking, what skills do you have?
Yeah.
What skills do you have to offer? So in this mentorship program, what kind of skills?
We do, so we do professional development. I'll give you examples. So one, personal development. An example of personal development is public speaking. So that's an example. There are many others. Professional development. An example of professional development that we teach is everything from CV writing to interview preparedness, including being able to curate your CV and create a portfolio that you can answer that question. The third one is scholarship. Scholarship is academic excellence and how to apply for grants and funding successfully. The fourth is ICT relevant skills. So in addition to the ICT they learn in the classroom, we now give them ICT professionals who are already practicing in the industry to teach them industry relevant skills, say in data science, cybersecurity, or full stack web development, for instance. And then we have innovation. Innovation asks the question, you have the skills, how do you use it to build a product from problem to solution, and how do you pitch that solution to industry investors? So we cover the entire track from picking a problem to looking for funding for that solution. And then the final one is community engagement, where we have our students not only immersed in the tech community, but they also give back through their own skills sharing. Those are just examples, there are other skills under that. And that's why it is 8 months. It is a very intensive hybrid program. And even with that, and even though it is free, we have only 7% graduation rate.
So after the training, do they get something?
Yes.
Something like a certificate?
Yes. They graduate, proper graduation, they get a certificate, and they also leave Kamilimu with a portfolio of at least 2 innovation projects that they can showcase in employment or job interviews.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Sustainability of the program.
Yeah.
Who pays it?
Yeah, because
That is, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to reveal that here, but I can tell you about one. So we have very strong partners who fund our program, but also our alumni network is amazing, and that's something actually as a university to. So we have an alumni of only 236 students right now. Yours is absolutely astronomical. But even with that number, what our alumni do is, as soon as they start working, and all of them usually do, at least most of them, we have an alumni model where they contribute back to the program through an alumni development fund. And we generate quite a significant income from that. The third one is we also partner with companies on a premium model. They hire from us and they pay us. So like there's different models. The free is a principle of me as a founder. We all are, the undergraduate track is the only one that's free. We will have others for postgrad and early career, those won't be free. The undergraduate one is free to even the playground, because we receive students from very different socioeconomic backgrounds. Sometimes some of them can't even afford the transport to attend sessions. So I don't want students to join Kabilimu because they can afford it, but because they need it. So that's why the undergraduate track is free.
Is the training online?
It's hybrid.
Okay.
So we combine online and physical. We meet physically for 1 Saturday a month on a full day. And then otherwise we have online, because we have, in every cohort we have at least 10 students from universities that are not in Nairobi. Yeah. And it works really beautifully for the last years.
Maybe finally talk about engagement with communities.
Yeah.
Now that the company looks more on specifics, especially professional,
Yes.
ICT.
Yeah.
Now, how do we integrate now with other things?
Sorry, which fields?
Art fields, which are not specialty.
Yeah. In fact, remember I said personal development, professional development, and all that. Those are not ICT. So we have Toastmasters. Toastmasters International. So Toastmasters are the ones who teach our public speaking. For instance, we have things like we have people who teach professional development. Those are HR professionals, for instance, who teach on how to prepare for interviews. We have how do you prepare for technical interviews, those are two separate things, taught by CTOs who actually run companies. So we partner with quite a number of professionals and industry to offer our training.
I think the innovation is trying to say, like when you talk about innovation, we want to do some innovation using IT and agriculture,
Yes.
and healthcare and water. That's what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Okay, so in that case, assume you're in the web cyber data science track, for instance. So what we teach you is human-centered ideation. So we actually are teaching students not only to innovate behind their screens, they actually innovate with users. So for instance, last year we had one team that designed a project called Organic Expert. So Organic Expert was a fertilizer recommender analytics system where the students worked with farmers from Machakos to be able to recommend the right amount of fertilizer, because too much too little then becomes a problem. So they worked with the farmers and the field officers and agricultural officers that have the data for the right amount of fertilizer. And then they developed recommending data modeling solution for that. So we have that human-centeredness in our innovation. It's really rarely behind the screen.
Questions?
Yeah.
Two questions. Number one, why did you apply for the Mozilla and yet you had quit?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Were you running into trouble and then you had to go back?
I'll tell you what,
Number two, you seem to have a very good structure of running a company. Is it also going to share it, or if you can help some of us on
what parts exactly? Like,
the whole leadership program, how it is done, etc.
okay. For the second one, I'll be diplomatic because I don't want to give away too much. Also, we have proprietary material. But let me answer the first one. That's a more interesting question. So why did I start working with Mozilla yet and quit? Alright. So the Mozilla role was actually sent to me by friends who thought that I fixed the bill. And I remember the first time I saw it, I didn't even do the details. I was like, I'm not applying because I'm not going back to a 9-to-5 job. Then a few days later, I went back to look at it. It turned out it was actually not a typical job. It was a job that is not full-time. it's a job that needed someone who understands higher education in Kenya and the industry, and it's also a job that allowed you to have other engagements. So I applied for it pretty much because, one, I was curious how far it would go, and two, because I ticked all the boxes. So by the time we got to the final interview with the panel, I was looking at the question of, can I still grow Kamilimu while doing this job? And for me, that was a question I asked very often. It is very important that I grow my company while I'm doing this. Is that possible? And the answer was not only an outstanding yes, but it was actually encouraged that I can do both. So when I was offered the job, it was really one of the reasons because I could still do both. And so far, they've completely enabled it in my own ways. So that's why. So it works out. And it turns out that my activity of the job at Figa is more or less complementary with my role at Kamilimu. So I'm able to do both. And in fact, now internally at Mozilla, I must talk about Kamilimu a lot as well. So it's very complementary.
I think that's the question. We have two questions.
The last one is
the one that behind the desk.
yeah.
Okay. We are at a place where the faculties of computing. I don't know what advice would be towards regulating students who are getting marketing demands, getting grants, and just being out there. You see, Nairobi is amazing. Kisii is great, but it's far flung. Sometimes the equal work that we make stand out around and do it here, you won't see. So you have to have an experts. So all those things are connected together as a challenge. So I don't know what advice would be for the faculty. Just be sure that they are out there. They are visible, just seeing in terms of everything from grants, education, research, all those things.
Yeah. So, Fred, how free are these guys with you?
Can I go out?
No, I want to ask people a question.
I'm an administrator, so let me.
Not to your friends. The question is, what are some of the reasons that you maybe you feel challenged to publish or apply for grants or be out there?
I think I've been here long enough,
Okay.
and I see a whole complex of people trying to work within the space they are familiar with.
Of course.
Let me give you an example. When I came into this university, I asked my colleagues, can we start publishing? Then they actually even did a colloquium. I think it was in then I invited them. No one came. So later I asked them, why is it? They said, you think we are Harvard and we are just Kisii University.
Oh, wow.
So they asked you. They want us to think like Harvard and we are Kisii University. And then someone told me, did you have food on the table so that you can come and eat? And I'm seeing now that there's a lot of food, but still I'm not seeing
But still, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. The grants initially, we came from, I don't know whether I'm speaking to people. I can give you my example.
Yeah.
When I was harassed through my master's, through my PhD. In my master's, I was being told if you're writing, even publishing a paper, that's a problem. You will not finish.
Sorry, is that the first one?
That was in Kenyatta University.
If you're doing what?
If you are like publishing and out there,
It's a problem.
It's a problem. You will not finish. So we would suppress. Then when we got to PhD, I remember even one time in Nairobi University, one professor telling me, you're dressing like an MP. Are you going to finish this PhD? So you are supposed to keep your head down and not whatever. And that's why now, so most of the time we never developed the skills most of the time.
Yeah.
And then when we got in now, we got into like teaching and
Yeah, I hear you.
and then So like me, it's last year when I started writing grants. It's about, I don't know, but now I see a group of people where we are telling guys, I mean, no one is stopping you. Without some of us will tell us you don't even have, you do anything exceptional, you're not even going to finish your PhD. Here in cases we are telling people, come on, we want to do this. And they are telling you, I have my family, I have so many things to do. In this thing where we get things together and we are working on something and people start telling you, I have a patient in hospital who is sick. So the first thing they tell you is, you are not going to do this what you have.
Okay. So let me relate to the mindset problem, because it is a problem whether we acknowledge it or not. And I did experience it myself before. Is there anyone here who has any relations with Kemo? Because I'm about to say things.
No, none of us.
Okay.
Except you.
Yeah, so one non-diplomatic reason, because what I shared is diplomatic, but one non-diplomatic reason that I felt it was time for me to move is exactly what he's talking about. I started standing out too much. So it was the same year I quit, the same year I gave a TED talk. And why are you giving a TED talk? Like, why aren't you put marketing the university instead? Are you saying doesn't match? So honestly, I completely understand the mindset, especially when you start standing out too much and you're doing different things. It's almost as if you're making other people look bad. And then instead of the shift to be towards you, the shift is you come also, we are the same. Don't be, we are not Harvard. Yeah, we are we are not Harvard. So honestly, we do as a collective, and as a collective academia in Kenya mostly, we have a mindset problems. Now, it may not entirely be our fault. So I want to also now play the other side. There's so many structural issues. And again, I like Fred being here because then at least he can hear some of these things. So I'm going to ask the next controversial question, which is, how many of you even have time to mentor a student for 8 months, for example?
Wow.
For 8 months. For 8 months.
No, I'm just giving who has time to mentor, to write, to prepare courses, to teach, to examine, to mark, to, I don't know what other people.
None of us. It's like none of us. I want to get it's like none of us. It's like continuous 8 months.
No, I think that's what we're trying to say. Some of the issue is not necessarily because we don't want, but there's a mindset. That's an issue. But some of it is honestly structural.
But how is it not necessary time for them? Sacrifice.
I understand, but sacrifice is not learned. Like sacrifice is not. You won't get a promotion because you sacrifice. And to be honest, even the Q criteria for promotion does not recognize some such things. For instance, it doesn't recognize how many students you mentored. Is there a metric for that? Is there a metric for how much time you spend speaking?
No.
Is there a metric for? There's a metric for the paper, but what about the time you spend researching for that paper? So I'm just saying that while some of the issues are motivational, they're also structural. Because whether we admit it or not, people need incentives. True?
Sure.
Exactly. They said it can be personal, but it also has to be physical because it takes a lot of time to mentor. I haven't mentored you today, I've just talked to you. Mentorship is slow and it's arduous, it's laborious, it takes time. That needs to be recognized. If it's not monetary, there has to be something else that someone can say. Ruth can go home and say, I've mentored 40 students. But at the end of the day, does Fred care that she's mentored 40 students or that she's taught? What other issue apart from mindsets and resources, I think, do you think we have in terms of research and writing and putting ourselves out there?
There's something
Yeah.
about mentorship. You know, there's a question you asked about the 8 months mentorship.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
These people you also mentoring,
Even them.
we need to look at them.
I hear you.
People think they are asking, what am I gaining
Yeah.
after this mentorship?
Yeah.
Leave alone this one of the masters and things like that.
Yeah.
But mentorship to go to the tech world.
Yeah.
The person will ask, will I get a job? Like that.
Exactly.
They have really talked about.
Yeah.
He is asking whether you get a job
Yeah.
after this mentorship or what.
It is not a bad question, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a very valid question.
So that means if you're mentoring somebody, you're also asking yourself, as he said, what am I getting out of it? And that's Kenyans for us.
Yeah.
Because you need to be able to know, I'm mentoring this person, you get a job, so what will I get?